How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we have my experience from UKGE for Star Wars video. Because I've been I've been I haven't had much anything over the weekend because I've been at UKGE for the whole weekend, going for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And while I was there, took part in some events. Took part in the Star Wars events for Friday and Saturday, and then also the Fusion War will be in another video for the Sunday. And it was a nice event. I normally go to UKG for the last few years since they started doing like events for Dragon Ball. So it's the first time going for Star Wars because the first time they have it, because they only released this year. But I've gone for UKG for the last few times they've had it because it's due to card events, and it's always been quite lovely. Like, it hasn't been the greatest when it comes, for me, when it comes to like events there, because sometimes they've been, sometimes they've been held quite well, like they held quite well in the beginning. But then when like OP took over my doing events, I did have some issues with it. But I do have to say, like, this one, while there were a few like issues, like it starting late and stuff, it was over like from the events I went into, they were ran quite well and done quite well as well. So after I've been like not the greatest experience with UKG, like with OPE events, or like having a quite bad experience really. For this one, it was like actually a much better experience, and it actually went quite well for this one. Like, no, I didn't feel like there was many issues. The only issue I felt they had really was the starting event late. But then when the hall opens at 9 and you want to start at 9, it's not going to start at 9. Like, I remember there was the whole thing when they had on the event details that the hall opens at 9. The events didn't start at 9, but we've got like till 9:15 to come and get our tickets. But then like to say we need to go, like, so people should get there early or the day before to get the tickets, and like so you can get them and go, because there'd be a lot of people getting tickets, especially on the first day when people are going for the convention, because there's loads of people for the convention and also for the games. But not everybody can not everybody can get the time off to go up Thursday or want to travel up Thursday, stay that extra night, because you have to pay for accommodation just to stay overnight. And like some people might have to, like myself, and some people did like just drive up on the Friday morning to then have to get the tickets. And if it's supposed to start like when the event opens or a little bit after, yeah, you'd have to wait a little bit of time to give people a chance to actually get the tickets and stuff, like register. And like, so this did start quite late because it didn't start at 9:15. It got to, I think it was like around like after 10, like 10 or after it started for the Friday one. So a lot of people get the tickets to come in, but also there are some players that couldn't register because they didn't get the packs. They didn't get their like welcome packs they sent out the Thursday, and that was a never issue. Like, well, never two issues technically. Nothing too bad. Just like some players didn't get the packs, they couldn't register, so they come in on the Friday, like to let them know, and then get the pack and register, and then do the lectures there and then, which then took a little bit while, which is why it started quite late. And also they sent the packs for each event the day before each event, which if you've got terrible Wi-Fi or you've got a bad connection or you don't have Wi-Fi while you're at the event or while you're there for the weekend, you can have trouble trying to like register and sort it out. So like they sent out each one, so they sent the Thursday on Thursday for Friday, and then there on the day before each event they sent the pack out. When it would have probably been better to send out the packs for all the events each person's gone on the day before, like try and get it done before as well, so that way we can register one like at home with like decent like internet connection to make sure we like definitely registered, and then submit our deck list as well if we got it then. Or it was a lot easier to submit deck list than when I've done it for Masters. So yeah, a few more hiccups I remember. Now I'm remembering them, but in all, it was a good event. So for the events for their Star Wars, they had 3 events. They had one for each day: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the Friday and Saturday events were both best of one with a top 8 cut. So I think the Saturday one, the Friday one didn't fill up. Like, it had some draw. I think some players turned up and like fed up with the fact they had like wait, it was taking so long, and ever stuff. I didn't know exactly what the reason was, but then some people dropped and went off to the expo on the Friday. On the Saturday one, it's completely full, 128, because they were capped at 128. And I think the Sunday one might not have hit the same amount. We'll check it out, but I don't think the Sunday one filled up or anything like that. But yes, Saturday one filled up. Sunday one had like Friday one also filled up, but then I had a few drops, and then the Sunday one I don't know if it filled up, but also was there. So like for the first 2 days, you had 7 rounds of Swiss each one, and then a top 8 cup. So play for 3 games to get the finals. And then on the Sunday, it was best of 3, but with no top cut because the hall closed at 4. So the hall closed early on a Sunday at 4, so we didn't have they wouldn't have time to do the top cut. So they did best of 3, and it's supposed to be 7 rounds. But due to the time restrictions, they had to cut it down to 6 rounds. But they compensated with that because usually it's just for the prizing. It was if you get participation of 3 boosters and you grow your promo. Grogu looks amazing, but when it came to the Sunday, because they could get that extra round, they did compensate because that was quite nice. They did compensate, so you get your participation, but in top 8 you get the extra bits. Like I think I can't remember what I got. I got 6 extra pack. I think it was 6 extra packs for. I think it was 6 extra packs. Yeah, I think it was 6 extra packs for making top 8 and a playmat. We'll have to get top, and then for now it goes double, so it goes 12 packs in a playmat, a box in a playmat, and 2 boxes of playmat for first. And due to the fact that they had to cut it back by one round, would have meant there would be like 2 undefeated. There wouldn't be two, like 1 undefeated, it'd be 2, and there'd be a fair few X1s. So they compensated by, instead of being top 8 prizing, the top 8 scaled down to top. But basically, if you like, depending if you win X1 or more or better. So if you win XO or X1, but in the event after 6 rounds, you got the like what would be top 8 prizing. So you got the playmat. So more than 8 playmats went out on Sunday, which was quite cool. And if you win X1, you got an extra 12 packs. I think it was. I can't. Yeah, I think it was extra 12 packs if you went X1. If you went XO, you got 2 boosted, like 2 boxes, which is pretty cool. That's very nice. So I ended up being 2 people getting 2 boxes, and then I load, I think, down the 13th, so then 11 people got an extra 12 packs each, and they all got playmats. If you went X1 or higher, you got the playmat and stuff. If you didn't, it's unfortunate, but it was best of 3, so it means you got to play more games. Whereas the other one was best of 1. Now I really hate best of 1. Like it wasn't too bad, but I absolutely hate it. I just hate that if you go against like a hot, like your worst matchup, or you go against something and then you break both after mulligan, you're gonna have a hard time. You're not good. You're basically just, that's it. You're out. You basically lost that game. You have to try and hopefully win the rest. But in the best of 3, if you do win the first game, you still got the chance of second and third game, so you've still got more of a chance. And then basically have your sideboard to kind of help you with that matchup. But in best of 1, you don't have that now. Like best of 1 is not the like it can be good. Like if you do a pre-side, like I've experienced this with Masters, where they start doing best of 1 events, especially with online events where it could take a little bit longer. They incorporate a pre-side, meaning that before the event starts, you see what kind of like leader each person has. Like, but you see your opponent, see your leader, and then you side. You basically do it like side in what you want to, and then you start the game. That so you play your best of 1, but you can like put in some cards from your side deck if need be. Now you only get like a minute or 2 to do that, but it means that you don't have to walk up like basic experience playing against your best like worst matchup, which you've got cards signed for, and not be able to use them or do anything about it. Like for these best of 1 events on Friday and Saturday, you had a side deck, but you didn't get to use it until the top cut. So if you didn't make the top cut, you just had it there and didn't ever use it. If you made the top cut, you can get into it because the top cut was best of 3. So like hopefully that like changes, like, and they do incorporate for if it's best of 1 pre-side, because it would help. Like if it's like if there's a like this is a game with a side deck and it should be best of 3. So like that's what I'm always expecting. I love best of 3, and that's what like part of the reason why I love this game is that it's a best of 3 game. But yeah, best of 1 is just, it's got a trigger for me, but I can't stand it. But I had to deal with that, so I just basically went in for it. But then leading into the event, I was trying to figure out, because it was best of 1, it was a little different, because where my locals, we do best of 3 for our locals. We get to try it out, like play the game properly. And like doing best of 3 means you got access to side deck and your opponent will also like side deck if they want to. If they've got side deck, they probably use it. So like testing in a best of 3 games for best of 1 means you're not really getting as great testing, because you're going against decks that can inside in where you're not, or you're trying not to do for best of 1. And my testing from the webcam locals I do, because I do the webcam locals on Wednesdays for Star Wars, so I did it in the same format as UKGE, so that people can get some testing for it with the preparation, which was, I think people did find that useful. And my testing up until then wasn't going great, because I'm not someone who likes to play the top meta decks, like, unless like a deck that I really enjoy, or they're like my very favorite character of mine, then I didn't really want to play it. And then like one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars is Boba Fett. I'm a fan of the Mandalorians. They look cool. Mandalorian, Boba Fett, love them. Definitely going to play Mandalorian set too. But like I haven't got much testing of it because where it's one of the top decks in the format, I don't want to like keep bringing that to locals to keep testing it. Like just it's not fun for like casual players, like especially at locals, like to play like the just top decks constantly because it just like puts people off. Really, if you keep doing like just playing the same thing over and over again, it's not enjoyable. And where there's like so many different leaders you can play in different combinations, I want to try them out all. So there's not enough time to try them out, so I try as much. But then I want to try and like play something. I find that I do better, a lot better, when I play something I enjoy, and I'm basically the strategy I'm enjoying as well, because then I have more fun, and then I basically play a bit better. So once the event, I was trying to like, test things like Churrowit. I was trying to test things like Hera, just to try and figure out what's best for me that could go against it, go against the meta, do well, but also help me have fun as well. So from my testing up until then, it wasn't going great. Like I was having a bit of trouble, and eventually it comes to like for that like a few days leading up to it. I did the last locals before testing out Sabina, see if maybe I want to, if I maybe I have to be aggro. Like I can enjoy this because I played against it. I played against it before, and I thought I'd give that a try. And while it was quite fun, not well, a class that's fun technically. It wasn't that great, and I did make a misplay in one of my games. So that kind of like got to me a little bit. So I misplayed, and yeah, it kind of annoys myself when I misplay. So I then keep thinking about it afterwards, and I just didn't. Yeah, I still didn't know what to play before the event, so I was like, right, screw it. I'm just gonna. I like playing control, and I'm a buddy Johnny. Shout out to Johnny, lovely player, person I test against most. Get like so I've experienced control a good amount, so I've got a lot of experience against that, and I really like how he's like put a lot of effort into like building and perfecting his Vader list, his Vader control list, and he plays it very well. And he's like the list is like very cool, like some really cool decks in it as well. That you don't see in normal decks, but he's like putting like he's all thought about like all cover all different things. So he's like like an avid a Star Wars player. And I was like, by asking for his list, he handed me the list, like basically told me which was side and main, and then I just rocked up with it. I'll give it a test at locals once. Did alright with it. Messed with it against like a Sabine, but then I thought I'd just take it to the event, try it out, because that way I get a bit of testing for him, so I can give him some feedback about his list, like what I found was useful, what I found was helpful, and the matchups that help him out, which I forgot to give to him. But yeah, I thought I'd try it out because that way I've got something that I know is done well and could do pretty well into what I thought would be the meta. But yeah, like I didn't expect there to be too much control for. I'm gonna go for control. Like that way, I can kind of like gauge what kind of decks I saw and what I'm seeing on the first day, and then kind of like use that kind of like knowledge to kind of pick a deck that I would have more fun with, or like a more fun deck for the Saturday. So I played the Blue Vader, and before we get like about the rest of it, we'll go into that. So I took Johnny's Blue Vader. I will do a deck profile on it because as you see, I can manage to make top 8. And I will go over deck profile, but I have Johnny with me because it's his deck, and while I've got some experience playing it, he's also like he can give probably a better explanations about like why we got cards in. Because I kind of understand why we got some cards in, and, like what they're for, and like how useful they could be. But he's got like the more knowledge because he's the one. He's like the builder of the list. But so my for experience, we had 7 rounds. So we had 7 rounds, and yeah, after I did top cut after. So the pressure was on to try and like I was like, right, I didn't want to try and make tough cups and actually try. So I was a little bit more like stress and pressure on than like when I was playing Fusion World on Sunday. So for my matchups for round 1, I played against a Iden. So this was, let me just double check because we can go into it and see the list. We got the player. No, okay, we can't go see the player. But if I remember correctly from what we had, this was a Iden red, like a red Iden. So a control so straight away for the first game, I had a control deck. So it's my Vader blue versus this Iden red. So 2 control decks, and I thought one thing I was worried about with playing Vader is because it was that we might not be able to finish games in time because of the fact that control can go on quite a while. Because with control against control, you're not gonna win by damage, like by attacking stuff, like playing things at damage. You're gonna win by decking out, and then whoever can recoup their restock essentially, because that's the name of the card, restock. and you win by that. So with this, like, I thought it was going to be like that. Like, it's going to be quite a difficult match. It might go like way too late because you only have 25 minutes. I thought this could be a game where I might not have enough time to play. Might end up getting a double loss where we won't neither of us finish. But luckily, the player was quite new, quite like a casual player, so wasn't as invested. He was like quite distracted a little bit when it came to games. Like, he's paying more attention sometimes when we're playing to what like people were talking about like next to us, what judges saying to people next to us. So I had to make sure like sometimes like can we focus on the game because we're playing control. Like, we're gonna have a hard time getting the time in for it, let alone if you're distracted. But luckily, we managed to play. Like, I play quite quickly, so I managed to take my turns, my actions quite quick, quite swiftly. But where I had a bit more experience in like card game experience, because I played a lot of card games since many years ago, like over a decade ago. I've been playing card games since school, so I've got a lot of experience in TCGs. So I think with this one, my experience just gave me gave me a bigger favor, and I was able to take it by doing damage rather than decking out. So I was able to like get things sticking on board, like hitting hard with like Avenger and things like that, and my leader as well, and just got the win from that one. So from the beginning, like that was the first one, and being a control deck didn't go as expected. Like, I did find that I thought 25 minutes wasn't going to be like much time to actually play the game for a lot of games because it's quite a small amount of time. And but I didn't expect to be to meet too much control, so I didn't think too much about it. If I did go control, I thought it might be a difficult one. But I didn't go into time in any of my games. There was one time it came close because I think I not yeah, it was more not because it was control because it was against one of the Bobas, but my opponent was quite like slow when playing, like kind of like slow and like resourcing what they want to do. So it started going down to like having like almost 1 minute left before like I finished it off. Like, so it's like saying like we need to like speed up a little bit. But then that's how it comes down. It comes down to more when it comes to control matchups, more down how like well for myself, and if you play quickly like myself, it comes down more to like how your opponent being the reason why it's like slow, where they're trying to think like they're taking more time to think about how they're gonna sequence, how they're gonna play to try and win rather than the like decks being slow. Because even as a controller, you don't take many actions, like quite quick with what you want to do, whereas the opponent has to take a little bit more time to think about what they want because they got to try and win, but they can't just go willy nilly shut things down because if they don't think about their plays, then we can capitalize them as control. So it's normally down to like with control decks, your opponent taking is the reason why it takes a lot longer because they've got to actually think about how they're going to win. So they'll be more methodical than just slap things down and swing. So for the first game, so that's one win done. I was happy there. I got the first win. So starting on track, it's one win down, just another load to go. And next opponent I had was David here, David B, and he was on Luke Skywalker, and I think he was on. I'm trying to think. I think he was on green. I think he's on green. I think he did have a hope. I want. So I know. Yeah, because I know it's definitely blue because I know he played Redemption at one point, but I think it was green. I'm pretty sure. Like, probably should have written this down or like checked before, but I think he was on green, and I think I can't remember. I can't remember if I won the die roll for most of them, but it doesn't really matter too much who wins the die roll because like when it comes to action, that's not as important as in other games, which is quite nice. Like, it matters more like in terms where like you take an initiative to do things first, but when it comes like to who starts off the game first, doesn't really matter that much. But I think this was the I was it odd because like Porg from our Discord also there's got in Star Wars because of course Porg from Star Wars like love like Star Wars as well, and he came down with his dad, and it was his dad that I played for round two on Luke, and this was quite a fun one because it's just I just had to make sure I clear stuff his board. I think I was able to take out his Luke rather quickly after it was deployed, and I can't remember too much about this game, but I know I did win it because you could say that I did win it. But I think it was like more like he play things out. I was able to clear him quite easily as a control player. Didn't have to worry too much, and then he could deal really with my big things as like while blue does have some removal. I don't think he saw much of it, or if he did find his removal, it's quite costly compared to other things. And I just managed to like take control of the game from there. So then I was 2-0 into it, so 2 wins into it, and then I went against my first Boba, and I think this was I can't remember saying. No, I think this was no, yeah, this because I remember I went against two double cunning Bobas and one green boba. I think this was the green boba. So this was my first boba and boba green. So this one, like, right, this is where I need to get testing in, and this should be a little bit more my favorite as a control deck, like Vader control, into a green boba, because I got the should be a lot easier. Whereas like he's trying to play stuff out and just taking it out, and I think so I can't remember who took the initiative, but it came down to at one point he was able to look at my hand with a probe droid and see what I had, and see like entrenched stuff like that. So you knew how like, I had entrenched, I have some memory cards to kind of take stuff out, and basically had some knowledge of my opening hand. So when it came to letters, I thought he'd be like I thought he like, see, he got entrenched, kind of hold off on Boba so he can get rid of it, like say like with a Bodhi or something like that. Now I can't remember if he did play a Bodhi and hit something out, but I know he did not get rid of my entrench if he did. So when it came to him deploying his leader, he dropped it, and I straight up entrenched it straight away to stop him, like basically stop him to attack. And now he can't attack because I was never going to play any like ground units. Cause I think I don't have many ground units like child stuff, but you have the deck profile soon. But I was able to entrench his leader, so he couldn't actually attack with it, get his resources back, and eventually just be able to take out his board with like Super Laser Blast and just take control of there. Where as he was trying to pressure me as much as possible, I was able to clear his board and like rip his hand apart as well, using like force surrender and things like that. So while he was like top, like had no board, leader or like basically deployed and then defeated, he was just then top decking his 2 cards, then start fighting back. While I'm there with a fair few cards. I think at one point I did I Am Your Father, and you let me draw 3 cards, which I love when people do that. I rather them let me draw the 3 cards rather than take the damage, because I remove something which helps. But I rather there's 3 cards, I've got more options because I can always take out that card I chose for it a little bit easier later. So I was able to whittle them down. So like I've got a fair few cards. He's top decking with no board while I'm establishing a board and like have Vader and stuff. And he just scooped up because there's no way he can come back when he's low on resources, and I'm starting like just pile up my threats that he's gonna have a hard time dealing with. So that was a third win there. So pretty happy I took down a Boba, but it would be the easiest matchup, and the matchup's not been too bad. Avoiding Sabine, which is the worst matchup for Vader control, like the pure aggro, like I don't think it's even a winnable matchup for control against Sabine. But Johnny can let me know his experience when we go to the deck profile. But of course, in all fashion, like we always have when go to events mostly. For round 4, I had to go against Buddy. Big own notation. If you haven't checked him out, he's also doing Star Wars, so I recommend checking him out. He will be doing Star Wars content because he is also in love with the game as well. And we got paired against for round 4, so halfway through the tournament, got paired against my mate, and he was on double cunning Boba. And so this one would be not too much. This has got a better matchup into control rather than the green one, because once again I forgot that the round before it was Boba green, so of course I wasn't going to be Bodhi to rip anything in my hand. So for this one, for double cunning, it's got the edge against control compared to the green one, because you have like things like cunning and also like Bodhi Brook to be able to like ripping cards at hand, because Bodhi is just a free cost free unit that allows you to look at your opponent's hand and take out anything that's not a unit. And control plays a lot of non-units, like a lot of events, like and some of upgrades. So just getting that down, needs to establish something on board that I have to try and deal with, while also look at my hand and taking things out. And I think at one point in the match, he took out the only vigilance I drew, which was what I kind of needed to kind of heal while helping to go aboard to kind of survive. So it came down to like controlling. Didn't need to go to base, just making sure to control his board. And it got to a point where I had Vader out. He dropped a Cartel Spacer, and I needed something to take it out because I could swing and do 2 damage to it. That wouldn't be enough because they'd still be able to attack, and also be able to like use one of Yellow's many events that can let a unit attack while giving it attack boost to push like a bit more damage. That's what's printed on the card. And like in the deck we main restocks, because if we do against control, we want that edge, so we make sure we're not decking out, and that we can basically win the mirror. Like the mirror is quite easy for Vader. Like I love the mirror for Vader. It's comes down to who's got the more restocks and the vigilances, and it's quite skillful. It's quite I would say it's fun for me. Might not be fun for everybody, but having those 2 restocks in to help with control kind of really hurt me in this matchup, because when I needed removal to help like keep clearing his board before or find heal, I needed to either find heal or removal to help it. But instead I got cards that wouldn't reveal plus my restock. So like 2 turns in a row, I'd sort of restock at a card that wasn't heal or wasn't really removal, and that ended up being losing me a game because rather than draw the removal, keep doing it. I was able to not like he was able to put like I said, the cartel spacer on board, which is a unit I couldn't like attack into because it was in space where Vader was on the ground, and I couldn't do enough damage to it because then can he ping 2 damage on it with Vader when it's got 3 health, so he was able to have that survive and then just finish me off by going like surprise strike and taking me out, or even like no good to me dead. So that's my first loss, but it wasn't too bad because it's a loss against my buddy, and we know we've played a lot of games. We're both like quite like experienced in card games, and he's a very good player as well because he did end up topping this one, going undefeated during the Swifts. So I know he's a very good tiebreaker, and it wasn't too bad of a loss. It's my first loss, and it's against someone I know, so it wasn't too bad. So that's quite nice. And then for the 5th round, so this is now where I was like, right, I need to keep winning because with this, if I get never lost, there's a less of a chance to get into it because I think it was an X2. I ended up being X2s could get into the top cut, but now it's like I need to keep winning games that guarantee I get into top cut. Whereas if I lose, then I can still have a chance, but it's a very slim chance. So now the pressure's on a bit more. So for round 5, I come against Chirrut, and this is my absolute favorite leader in the game. So I'm well versed. It's not like so sometimes when you go against a leader and you've not really played against it, and then you kind of lose because the surprise factor, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to expect, and then that surprise kind of like is the winning factor. But luckily for me, I am very knowledgeable with Chirrut. I know what it can do in all its different variants, so I was well prepared. And it's a very good game. It was very close because he was very close to taking it, but luckily I was able to get enough heal, take his units out, take control to the point where I now established a board. I managed to get to late enough game in the game where I've started establishing a board like Avenger and stuff like that, and he wasn't able to do anything about like really take it out. Was just a bit swinging and making him like basically clearing his board and stopping from establishing while then healing back down. So I was like in a safe range, and then basically like there's nothing he could do to come back, and I had too many options to be able to make sure he couldn't come back. So that was great, like really nice guys. Well, so far all the opponents have been all absolutely lovely, really nice people, really nice to chat to. Just unfortunately, I was playing like a control deck, which isn't the great thing to play against. But I do thank the my opponents for just being nice and putting up with that. And then we came up to next round. So my last Boba deck I played during Swifts. So this was never done with cunning. So this one I was thinking, right, since I've lost Ollie, it could be. I don't know if it was. Like, I felt like it was just like bad trolls, kind of give me like yeah, the bad trolls that during the restart kind of like hurt a lot because it was if it was just removal or a bit of heal, I could have maybe taken the game. Maybe I'm not saying I would have, but maybe could have it would have helped out. So maybe like so I thought we'd go into this one like double kind of have to be a bit more careful then. Like I don't know how experienced players in card games or how good they are because this is like I've not played against anybody outside of Ollie up until now from this event. So it's nice. It's always nice to play against new people. You know what to expect. You can have a lot more fun. There's a lot more mystery in like how they play. So this was one where this is the only matchup where it really kind of went to time, where it was going quite slow, because we're trying to take the time like the kind of check what's going on, like check what we've got, and figure out what go and be careful because we're trying to win because we're getting quite close with both X1, and if we lose, there's less of a chance we can get a top 8. So it went on back and forth, got back, like got controlling back and forth, but I was able to take it by having enough resources, like basically just having a lot more resources to do things with. Basically making sure I'm always clearing the board, putting things out there, and just like, hitting hard with it. And I was able to, yeah, just got like about to a minute, like less than a minute left on the game, and I was able to just like finish off and take the game from there. I made sure that with time going into it, I had game enough to like to go for game when it came to the last phase. Even if the time ended on the phase, I still have enough to make like push through and make sure I got the win there. So it was quite fun. That was one of the more stressful ones because it was going quite late into it. Not because like I ever playing like how the game's going, but it was even a point like I kind of had an impact on it because I forgot that I hadn't deployed my leader because I was holding my leader to make sure I could swing on it and like actually not get like cunning to like tap and stuff like that or taking out straight away. So I was always trying to like save my leader because I didn't need to deploy it straight away. Like I'm not urgently needing to deploy it. I'll make sure to deploy it with safe to get as much use of it, so I can like make sure it sticks and is established. And it comes to a point like a few turns after I could deploy Vader. I still had deploy Vader and didn't realize, and then when I finally realized I was able to drop that and then kind of push more damage thanks to that. So I kind of had like a little bit of a yeah, it's a little bit of the reason why it went on a bit slow, forgetting that my leader hadn't been deployed yet. So that was a bit on me, but then what did go quite slow, more because the opponent trying to figure out what they're doing. And then it came to the last round. So this is the last round. This is one now where to make a break, win this and go X1 and guarantee top cut, or lose it, go X2 and maybe get in the top cut. And for this one, this is my first mirror match, like going also against a red blue. So since she sat down, we both got our decks out and just started saying like, oh, this is not going to be a game that goes to this is going to be a game that goes to time. It's going to go to mill to basically to win. And so we both agreed that if it came close to time, it looked like neither was going to win. We were just going to roll dice, and then whoever won the die roll would win, because it's rather than both of us get a game loss and knock us both out the top cut, it's better that at least one of us wins, goes top cut, because it's pointless kind of make like doing a double loss to make sure neither of us get into it. Like, I'm not going to do it, so if I'm not getting it, you're not getting it. I'd rather one of us get into the top cut rather than neither of us get in. So we made sure that we had a game plan to just basically high roll for it if it looked like we're not going to actually win the game, or not going to finish the game. So before we get into game, as we're shuffling up and getting ready, I thought I would ask and like see how many like restocks to go on. So I said to my opponent like, how many restocks you have? I have 2 in my deck. How many restocks do you have? Basically told me he had 1. So you already from there, he's got his 1 restock, so he needs to find that and make sure he doesn't get milled out. And I've got 2 restocks, so I've got more of a chance to find a restock and also have more chance to make sure I'm definitely going to be like keeping the recursion of my deck going, so I'm not going to deck out. So we know that it's going to come down to like who sees the restocks, who sees my more mill, and basically who's going to lose their restocks and mill first. So he's not playing, of course, it's just a lot of like basically just charging, like resourcing, passing, resourcing, passing, resourcing, passing. Like in between that, like playing something, opponent takes it out, play something, opponent takes it out. Like the usual back and forth control, get into later turns quite quickly. So like we got very quickly into later games we can actually do stuff. So like the good thing was that where we're not doing really much, we're just like resourcing up. We were going quite well into. I think I saw a fair few of my. Yeah, luckily he didn't want me to draw any cards off of my I'm Your Father, so I was able to use like anytime play something. I'm Your Father as like an easy way to just like pop things. So when like if he did deploy Vader, I think I was able to just go Paradox, I take it out. So like our Vaders were never safe from like or never really safe into coming out without getting removed. So that was like leaders would just dead like slowly ping, but even that ping damage could just be healed by vigilance, so it wasn't too much. But it came to a point where my opponent went with starting off with the milling, so he went with his first going into vigilance. But the one thing before he did get the start off with the mill, I did draw into both my resources, and where I have both, sorry, not resources, restocks, and where I had both, I was a bit cheeky and decided to charge one, thinking I got 1 in hand. I won't have to worry about like anything. So I've got my 2 restocks. I charged 1 because I didn't want to charge anything in my hand, which probably wasn't really a mistake, but it could have cost me potentially if I due to restocking that. So that was a bit silly of me. But I knew like I've got 1 restock, but I don't have any of my vigilances, so I need to kind of like find those now. So my opponent managed to get like drew into his first vigilance, so he started off the mill. So decided to go with the whole like heal 5, mill 6. Didn't hit anything. Didn't hit any of my vigilance. So I was like, okay, did hit much useful? So that's cool. Then he I think a turn or a few turns later, he did a second one. Managed to mill 6. Didn't hit anything. Didn't hit no vigilance, so no vigilance hit. And I know I've had safely had my restocks in my hand, which he didn't know. And so then he had 1 more vigilance and he had a restock. So I'm like, right, he's got a restock somewhere. So now I've got no way I can rip it out his hand, so I've got to kind of like tactically wait until like he does his restock, and like puts it back, and then like a vigilance kind of hit it. So eventually I draw into my first vigilance. So I start for right. He's milled quite a few of mine. I've got a fair few cards in hand because I did at one point drop Inferno 4, which he didn't take out, and then I think on my turn 6 I was able to swing into his base with my Inferno 4, doing just 2 damage, and then play my Force Surrendered, allowing me to draw 2 and make him discard 2 cards, kind of like lower his options in hand, which is quite nice. I'm also gaining mine to try and find my vigilance quicker. So when after he's done 2 mills, I finally start drawing into my vigilances. So I do my mill 6, and from my I think I ended up doing 2 vigilances before we basically scooped it up, because my first vigilance I used hit his 1 restock. So it's like, right, his restock's gone. He now has only 1 vigilance left. That's all I need to get rid of. He's either got in his hand or he's got in his deck still. So I've just got to watch out for that. So I got to be careful with my now, since I got 1 restock. I have to be careful with that, because if he does have it in hand, then I'm a bit screwed. But we can just try and go, like, if he doesn't have it, then I potentially mill it. And lo and behold, on my second mill, I hit his third vigilance. So now, after that mill, he's lost his 1 restock, and all his vigilance have been used, so there's no way to mill me out. I still have 1 vigilance, and I know I've got my restock, so he just scoops up, because there's no way he can win while I still have mine. And he knows there's still a restock because he hasn't milled it, and he knows I've got 2. So I ended up taking the win there, which was quite nice. But then we did kind of work it out where his only losses were to me and Ollie. He did have pretty good tiebreakers on his losses, but so it could be a chance that he could go X2, because there are 2 people on X1 that were paired down, and I think one of them lost and one of them won, I think. So it ended up being 1 X2 could get into the top cut. But unfortunately, he was just 2 away from that, so he managed to come in 10th instead. Still a good record, like 10th out of like 100 something people, like 120 something people. It's pretty good. But I missed out by a little bit on the top cut, which is unfortunate. So that meant I went 6-1, able to go on to top cut. And I did have quite a varied decks. I think, yeah, like 3 Bobas and all the rest were like individual, like different characters, like 5 different decks. I did avoid all the any aggro, so I didn't hit a single Sabine or potential layer that was down in there. So I was quite fortunate. I'm very fortunate with my not running into Sabine, but that did stop there, because there were 2 Sabines that did get into the top 8, and I managed to happen to face one of them. So for this one, it is on. I think they did stream it. I was on stream for this one, so you can watch it on OP's Twitch. I'll see if I can get a link put in the description below. But it was recorded, so you can go and watch that. So for this one, I knew it wasn't the best match. It was quite a hard matchup. I just didn't know how hard it was, because I only played at locals, and when I played at locals, I did lose. But it was more from a misplay from me, rather than it was where it was too hard. But going to this, I knew, right, I have to. It's gonna be quite late until I can get into my Vader and actually get control. So I have to just try and keep control on the board, and then try and like heal off, like kind of once I get to later turns, and then start taking it back. So it's all about surviving the first few turns, like clearing the board, and then I basically start playing my stuff the next turn, just like going hard on it. So the problem, like with this, it started off with I was doing alright in the first game, so I managed to like help clear board and just keep taking things out, getting quite close to having like a lot of damage. And it came to the turn before, well, the last turn, I had 2 force throws, and I think he had he had 3 cards in his hand, or he had a few cards in hand. Yeah, like I didn't realize at the time he drew into all of his four calls, I believe in. So he already used 1 before, and then on the last turn, he used 1 to burn me for 4, and then put them all back. And then straight away, as soon as I saw that he put all 4 back, that should have been indicated to me that he did have a Never for calls. But then I don't play Sabine that often. I don't play against it often. I don't play it often, so it didn't really click to me that putting all 4 back means he has Never for calls. It could be just they were pretty good heroic like units. So it might have been just he wanted to keep them all there. And so he had enough energy to play Never 1, and it should have clicked to me that he did have the four calls, but it just didn't click. But then I did have in my hand the Force Throw, and also had Vader deployed, and I had a Vigilance as well. So it come to me thinking, right, I'm really close to dying. Like, if he pings with Sabine, that's not going to kill me, but if he can like drop anything, like push damage, it can kill me. So I'd rather take the initiative and heal, because I was thinking I could Force Throw now, take 1 card out of hand, then next turn heal, but then he's then got for some reason I think it got mad that he's got the initiative, so he might be able to do something. So I was like, if I take the initiative, I can then heal before he can then try and kill me, and I can just like hold out, even if he plays space unit, I can kind of like deal with that. So for some like I wanted to be, and also why I did have force throw to ditch a card from his hand. I got a bit greedy because I want to make a full use of it by ditching card from his hand and using the like because I had fade out, make him like do damage to something like that does play by making ditch card from his hand. So whatever I ditch from hand, do damage equal to its cost to that card, and then if it doesn't kill it, finish it off with swing with Vader and pop the 2 damage on it to kind of kill it, to kind of like get as much value out of it as possible. So I got very greedy. So rather than just force throw him, then next turn vigilance, so like heal damage and give Vader a shield. I just went ahead and yeah, passed to make use of vigilance. I can then get them for use at force throw, and they just chuck down the 4 calls, showed the 4, that was the game. So by me being greedy, it cost me the game because I think after that, if I just force throwed and a vigilance, I'd be in a position where basically I could just come back because you'd be top decking 2 cards a turn, and I'd just be able to like wait until he plays something on the board and then actually like do something to kind of like ping, like swing with Vader, ping damage, and then put in range for vigilance while also healing 5 for my base. But yeah, being like I was very greedy and it cost me the game. And then we went into game 2. So I had the initiative this time. So I know like right, I'm going first, like see what he's played. If I want to like take it out there and then, or then start taking it out bit by bit. And essentially, I was doing all right, like clearing boards and stuff, like trying to hold off until like Sabine came down. And when it comes to my turn 4, it was like I could just try and like yeah, I could like just I did some removal, but I had my Charlton. I thought I'd put down Charlton because he was going to deploy leader and also have his the unit already had on board with him. So I thought rather than just clear something off board and then have like something be played and then have Sabine come in the same turn, I thought I'd kind of mitigate the ground arena help out. But unfortunately, with my Charlton, I only had 2 other blue cards. I was only able to drop it down as a 4/4, not like I've done before, like a 5 or 6. Like I didn't have too many. Only had 2 blue cards in hand to give it 2 experience rather than the potential 3 or 4 to make it quite strong. So that way, if Sabine swings to it, she's gonna die and stuff like that because it does have Sentinel. So rather than actually just do some removal, like take something out and then like take down Sabine the next turn, I decided to just play Charlton, use the 2 experience that way. Neither of the units he had on board could take it out, and then they'd have to swing for that basically to get to my base. So I'll be a bit safe there. But unfortunately, as I find with like all Sabine players, they always seem to have all their like 4 calls and KTOSO stuff. He was able to, he did manage to draw into one of his KTOSOs and able to like ECL it in, just basically drop it down, attack straight to my Charlton to trade him off, and then ping that damage. And then now his leader and every unit could just push through, and I just couldn't recover from that. So like making that kind of play was a bit silly, but it is what it is. I still made top 8, got the exclusive playmat and the extra packs. I think I did end up pulling like a command and force lightning from my packs overall, like from top 8 and also from entry. So it wasn't too bad a week day. I still made top 8, and that was my aim. So making top 8, I was quite happy. But then it came down to the deciding what to play for the second day for Saturday, and my testing was still not going great because I wanted to play Chirrut for one of them, but the problem with that was I wasn't having great experience, and where I felt like it was a lot of kind of control and also boba and stuff. I haven't tested it much into boba, and it just is horrible to control. And I felt there's quite a few control effects. I didn't see too many like Sabine or Agrodam. I saw a lot more control out there. So I'm not gonna try and bring Chirrut and have a horrible time, even though I would have fun playing it. Yeah, my testing with things like Hera and stuff wasn't going very well. So I thought it's been tried and true. I did well with Vader. I'll just play it again the next day. So I don't have to worry about like sorting out a deck or anything. I can just play it again, just have fun because I did have fun playing the deck. So that brings us on to my so that's my experience for Friday. Managed to go ahead and make top 8, going 7-1. Sorry, 6-1, but then lost that in top cut. So I finally bumped into a Sabine, which then and make misplays, which cost me as well. So then on the Saturday, as you can see here, I didn't do very well on Saturday. This is when my luck ran out because I avoided all the Sabines for Swiss on the Friday. I ran into what felt like all of them on the Saturday. And I do apologize to anybody I played during on the Saturday if I did seem quite annoyed and stuff. Like for one, I do really hate best of one, so that is my main issue with the. That was my main issue with the Star Wars events. Just the ones I was going were only best of one. I just hate that format, especially when you're a game has a sideboard. But I was also just like annoyed because I finally like final Sabines and is an impossible matchup, and I just wasn't enjoying myself. So like that plus this best of one made me a bit irritable. So I do apologize if I was quite like agitated and quite irritating. But I do apologize for that. I'm sorry. But yeah. So when I come to this event, just go with Vader. Just think I'll just do it again. Did the registration the night before, and decklist just have to put the same thing over. And get there and get there on like on time. Waiting around for the start. This one went a bit like a little bit later starting as well because once again people didn't get the packs. I think it's the same people, and also we had yeah, just basically waiting around. It didn't start as late as the Friday. It started a little bit later. Eventually, get to it. And the thing with these with the events as well was how they had it was why you were using limiters to kind of see your pairings and stuff like that. Just basically find what saber you're on and find who you are against and stuff like that and report your results. But also what they had on there was you can see your opponent's deck list before you play them. So all throughout the tournaments, you could when you went to kind of like see what table you're on, who you're against. You could also look at their deck list as well, so you can see what you were playing before you even sat down, and also look for the list to kind of see what they were potentially like, what text and stuff they had. Like when we're playing, my opponent didn't realize that in top 8 from day one, from Friday, because when it comes to like we could have open decks look at each other's deck list in Top Cut. While we were getting up on our phone, I thought he was looking at mine on his phone. I was looking at his on my phone, but he was looking at his own on my phone, ready to pass it over. When I was already looking at his, so I just basically had to let him know, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and managed to look at my list on his phone. But yes, I was able to see what I was playing, and so it was a Sabine. I was like, right, this is going to be a first round loss because I'm against a Sabine, and it was the yellow Sabine, not the green Sabine like I played the day before. This is one that I know is a lot more aggressive, can push damage a lot harder because they got the. Not only do they do the same kind of thing of pushing attacks, and they also have like a harder to deal with space unit in the Millennium Falcon, but they also have event like yeah, they have like battle tricks like events like the surprise strike thing like that can allow you to attack and attack for with a bit more power. So I already know that's going to be a hard time. So I tried my best. I made sure like for each of the games, I did try my best to try and win, but I knew it was going to be like a very hard or impossible. So I sat down and I saw a conversation with my opponent, talking about like how it's good, like how playing the game, how enjoying the game, stuff like that. I did with most of my opponents. So I basically just had a bit of, like talking about how we enjoyed the game and about like Star Wars and stuff like that. I sat down, tried my hardest to get through, but unfortunately, it's stuck. I don't know more to say about the matchups really for the Sabine because it's just very aggressive, pushing enough damage, and you just can't cope as Vader. Like you would try, like with the yellow, it feels like with the yellow Sabine, it's impossible because they push so much damage, and then while they're pushing damage units, even if you clear them, they then have fur calls while they burn the damage without need to attack and get a unit bond. So if you do clear the board and make it so they you can just keep clearing as they play it, you're still going to have a hard time because you still have Millennium Falcon that comes in ready to be able to attack, unlike the other ones that come in rested. And also they have 4 calls to just like get that ping effect damage, which is most of the time mostly 4, sometimes 3, but it's never less than 3 really. So straight away, first loss, not feeling great, feeling like that's maybe out the way. Maybe now I'll go against more like non-Sabine. And luckily, well, round 2, there was a repair for this one as well for round 2 because was paired against a blue boba. So I was like, right, it's boba, blue boba. I know what it does, a bit more control. Like I played it, I even done net profile on it, and it's gonna have a bit of fun. But since we got set up ready to play, it had a repair, so I went from being what I felt might be in like a win for me because like Boba can do the same thing as like Vader does, but where you got more removal in red, it's a lot. They have lack a little bit of removal because their removal is more like bouncing and moving out of the way rather than permanently dealing with it. So I felt like I could have a bit more of if he's playing the more control. I've got like I think I've got more of an advantage because especially with restock and vigilance and stuff like that. Whereas he wouldn't. I don't think he had it. It wasn't more of a control deck. But then I got repaired. He got repaired, and I ended up going against a green solo. So that's one I hadn't really tested. I've not really played against Green Han at all. I think it's my first time playing against Green Han, and I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew that it's not gonna be too bad just to make sure I have to clear boards. Like if he gets the ramp and can go up to, like high enough, it's gonna be quite difficult trying to deal with like just getting out like Ewing just spamming the board before I can even like super laser blast. And yeah, started off I think he managed to see all three of his Sparkle Blades. He was able to keep looking at my hand. But a good thing about that, while he was using Sparkle Blade and look at my hand and rip stuff things in my hand, he wasn't really able to play anything. So while he wasn't playing anything to pressure me, but ripping cards from my hand, I wasn't having too much of a trouble getting to litters, like keeping like be able to get control of it because of the fact that I was able to. He wasn't really deploying anything to like push pressure. So while he was hitting all the cards, making it so I had less options, he wasn't playing anything to kind of pressure me, which was a benefit. There's also a point when I got to a point where like I was able to get a unit on board. I can't remember if it was no, I think it was I was able to get to a point where I think I had 10 energy, and what I was able to do was power the dark side, kill like he was able to play a unit. I was able to power the dark side, take it out, and then after that I was able to use Vader to then pay an extra one, so pay one to ping a damage to a unit on board and to his base. So I was at 6 units left, and because I'd done damage to his base with Vader, I was able to play Force Surrender to then troll 2 cards and make him discard 2 to kind of like keep his hand very low or like non-existent, while also like drawing up a fair few cards that have more options. And I was able to basically just grind out and basically claim it by just advantage it whilst out grinding him, which is a good one. Ended up going the same record on me and dropping just like me as well. But basically, it's like you could still have a chance potentially top 8 as an X2. So we like tried that, but unfortunately, we both played out until we got a third loss and then dropped. And then for the next 2 games, we had more Sabines. I had Bradley J here on Sabine, also being a Nebula Sabine. So I know I have to sit now. Yes, I've asked my second loss. Might drop after this, but I was like, I might drop. But there is a chance that X2 could go into it, so I'll see how my rounds go. And then after that, played against a Never Sabine, and then lost that because I think he saw all 3 K2 so I was clearing the K2s and trying to heal. He kept seeing the K2s, chucking them down, and yeah, I just couldn't deal with it, which is a shame. Like it was unfortunate because you can see like the differences about like how you can have favorable matchups or like favorable matchups in your rounds, and you can have unfavorable favorable. Like I did really well for the first day on Friday because I didn't run into any Sabine at all. But then I did absolutely horrible on the second day because all I ran into was Sabine out of a hand solo. So going to show if you don't go against your worst matchup, you can do very well. If you go against your worst matchup, and that's what you see, you don't have very bad like a very good time. So you can like hopefully like this is kind of an example of like how your matchups can influence like how well you do, like why you think like how did that person do quite well. It could be that they gone against their favorable matchups or just a very good player and stuff like that. But you can see like from these two play the same deck both days. One had very favorable matchups and none. I basically avoided all my worst matchup until top cut, and the other one all I saw was my worst matchup. So that was my experience for this. I did manage on like after dropping go down to the demo booth to kind of like play the demo, learn the game, and also grab Grogu. And also, but the thing was when we got to the demo area, it was I think there was a queue the whole time. Like there was a big queue the whole time the demo was up. So I had to wait for a bit in the queue, which is fine because I wanted to get my third Grogu because I wasn't playing in the Sunday event. I wasn't going to get one for participation there, so I needed to get a third one. I thought I'd just go and do demo. But when we got there and eventually got like near the front, a lot of the demonstrators were going for lunch to like go have the lunch because they got to have lunch. They've been working for ages. Everybody's entitled to have a lunch while they're working. So they were having it was going to be a little bit longer. So they got to a point where if anybody had their own decks, they could sit down and play, like just play the games, like learn the game with their own decks instead of the promos and stuff. So because I was playing in the event, I had a fair few decks made up because I still had I had made up my Vader play. Also, I made up double cutting Boba, double green Hera and Sabine as well. Just have decks like as my options for the event. I had 4 decks, so I had my buddy Brad with me, so he can basically try the game, because he was kind of interested in it, get him into like trying to play in the game, just kind of show him how to play. And also while they're going around before my buddy Brad got there, they were looking for like trying to pair people up in twos. So I got paired with another guy who was who played Star Wars 1, was there for the Grogu as well. He was a lovely guy. And so we had 3 of us. So when they're looking out, I was like, I've got 4 decks. So if you can grab someone who's on their own, they can join us to play. So the lady was going through and eventually found like someone quite long, like far in the queues on their own, brought to us so you can basically come along and play. So look, unfortunately for us, we was able to sit on a table and basically just play a game together. But where my buddy Brad hadn't played the game, and the guy they brought back from the back of the queue also was actually here to learn how to play the game and hadn't played the game before. And me and the other guy were both experienced in playing the game, and also I had our own decks and were playing. We decided to just take the time to show them how to play the game, like help them both play the game. Like my buddy Brad was on Luke, the other guy was on Vader, help them like teach them how to play the game so they can learn, and like help them with their choices and stuff, and like just teach them how to play the game before we get into our own game. So because you have to play a game to get the promos, so we made sure we did play the game so they come over and get the promos, and because they were running out at that point. So you did get like we got Grogu, but also we're giving out like Luke's and Vader's as well. So I managed to get my event Luke and Vader, which I'm happy about. So we sat down, played the game. They seem to have a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun like playing as well because it's such a great game. And then played our own game where we were playing Boba versus Hera, which was I did enjoy that playing Hera. I do enjoy playing Hera, and they had a lot of fun playing Boba. Played a game and then just went off to enjoyed the event. I think on Friday after we did the top cut, we also did a draft because that was quite fun. I think I went 2 wins and a loss drafting. We drafted Luke with I think I drafted Luke blue yellow, which is a lot of fun. And I did a draft with another load of people that I met at the event as well, who were like going to do a draft and were missing a few people, so I joined in with them. And I think for that one I drafted I can't remember what it was now. I think it was a green gin deck, like a mostly rebel green gin deck, which was quite fun. And able to take win that one. Do go 2-1 in that one as well. I think I pulled a hyperspace cunning for that, which I was happy to add to my double cunning deck. But yeah, it was a very nice event. Like the event was run quite well. Like with, as I said, like a couple issues, but it was the best probably OP events I've been to ever there. Like normally had always bad experience, like very bad experiences with OP events. But this one it wasn't too bad. There was only like the lateness at the beginning, which wasn't too bad because at the end event because it was best one it ended quite quickly. But we done by 2 o'clock after starting at 10, which was quite nice. And as well as that, just a few like the errors being like packs not being sent out and can't remember what the other one was now. And a bit like and the weird thing about like having deck lists being reviewed before. But it was very nice events. Enjoyed myself. So I managed to get like one. I wanted to try and top 8 for one of them, and I managed to do it on the first one. So I was wasn't too bad when I just bombed just did terribly on the Saturday. But I had a lot of fun playing, and it was nice to just basically play outside locals and just like play against different people as well. Because like after you get play at locals, you like kind of get a pattern like people like how people play, and you kind of like have that expectation. You know how it's going to expect. But when you get people you never played before, you have no idea how they play, what they play, or you have to have very experienced or they're more casual. So you got that mystery in playing that becomes like quite fresh and quite new. So yeah, I think it's that Judges Warsaw was really good, very informative, very helpful, and yeah, overall a very nice event. Looking forward to more Star Wars events like coming out because we've got our store showdown at our local store showdown in a couple of weeks because they had it set up but they just didn't have to work out time to play because we have loads of our games played at our locals. We got One Piece, Pokemon, stuff like that. And so we get that in a few weeks. But I'm looking forward to the next one, and also looking forward to the regional season when it starts up next year too. So that's it for me. So I had a brilliant time and pretty successful time at UKGE this year, and I look forward to more. So if you want to check out my deck profile for the Blue Vader list I ran that I made top 8 with, you can probably go on Limits and check it out. You probably see the event and check it out and just look at it there. But if you want to wait for a deck profile and hear me and Johnny talk about it and like help you understand it, like from Johnny the deck choices and from myself the experience of playing the deck, and then go ahead and wait for that, and that'll be out not too soon. But yeah, thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Like a boss.